You may have heard of Steak Diane before. A lot of times it's made with medallions, some sort of filet, and a rich cream sauce that has cognac in it. Well, I'm going to change it up today because I'm not going to use cognac. I'm going to bring my friend Jack into this, and we're going to make Steak Jack and Diane. All right, I've got my cast iron skillet over the Vortex in the Weber Kettle. It is smoking hot. Let's check the temperature. We're above 500 degrees in the skillet and climbing. We are just about ready. Let's go ahead and salt and pepper our steak. All right, so what we have here is a fairly thick New York strip steak. We're gonna put a mix of salt and pepper on it. Nice little coating of salt and pepper on here. Looks good. Let's go ahead and get it in our pan. We're going to sear that for about 2 minutes on each side, and then we're going to finish it indirect in the Weber Kettle to 130 degrees. Just love that cast iron sizzle. All right, let's check and see how we're doing. Nice crust on that side. We're going to let the pan heat back up for a second. And we're going to put it back. If there's any doubt whether the Vortex gets hot, just look at that. It is red, red, red hot under this pan. Okay, let's give our steak a check here. Looking good. All right, we're going to move this indirect now. And I'm going to move the cast iron pan temporarily off the grill. Good gloves. I'm going to get my temperature probe right into the center of the steak here. All right, we have an internal meat temperature of 56 degrees. Perfect. We're going to be taking this to 130 and taking it off. So I'm going to put the lid on the Weber Kettle. So as soon as the steak reaches 130 degrees, we're going to take it off, put it on a plate, cover it in foil, and then we're going to start making our Jack and Diane sauce. All right, while our steak is finishing up, there's still a lot of heat in this pan, so we're going to start actually on some of the ingredients. We're going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of butter, doing about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And this is a small shallot, kind of finely chopped. And we're just actually going to stir this around a little bit. Once it gets back on the fire, that's when it's really going to cook. But you can see the residual heat in this pan melted the butter within 30 seconds. It's one of the many things I love about cast iron, how well it holds heat. All right, we just hit 130 internal. Let's get our steak off. All right, good looking steak. Let's get our probe out. And let's get our steak over to its plate. All right, let's cover that with some foil. All right, we're getting our cast iron pan back on. Got our shallots and our garlic in here. Just gonna cook these down for a couple minutes. All right, we're gonna add a cup of mushrooms here. These have been cut down to about a 1/4 inch thick. Just gonna stir these up. Gonna hit these with a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. Remember, with cast iron, if your pan's getting too hot, you can just move it off the fire a little bit. It's a good thing about it. It will retain that working heat. We'll let our mushrooms go for another minute here. Even mushrooms sound good sizzling in cast iron. We're now going to remove our pan from the heat momentarily and get to the star of the show here. We've got a 1/4 cup of Jack Daniels we're going to pour in, and we're going to ignite that. Just going to let that burn down. Oh, wonderful smell coming off here now. All right, let's get this back to the fire. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of heavy cream now. About 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, a couple squirts. And mix these all up here. Remember, you can move your pan on and off of the fire if you need to. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of beef stock. Just gonna whisk that in here. About 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Keep whisking this. Got about a tablespoon of chopped parsley, tablespoon of chopped scallions. Add a little salt, a little pepper, a couple things of Tabasco, a couple hits, and we are done. We're gonna get this inside and get it on our steak. All right, here is our steak for our steak Jack and Diane. It is time to get our sauce on top. Yes, my cutting board is gonna be a mess. I don't care. Oh, look at that. All right, let's cut into this here. Let's go right down the center. Oh yes. Look at that. Medium rare. This is one great looking steak. I'm ready to taste this. I know my wife wants to taste it right away too, so let's get to that. All right. This steak is cooked just about as perfect as I've ever wanted to cook a steak. I'm not saying it's the best steak I've ever made, but it came out looking as good as any steak I've ever made. So here goes with the taste test. Got a little bit of mushroom in there, a good amount of the sauce. Here we go. Hold on, my wife's got to get in here. Come over here. No, you got to get in the picture.
Short.
That's all right. Stand on your tippy toes. You take the fork. I'm not going to feed you. Go ahead. Oh, isn't that good?
Oh, really good.
All right, thank you. Unbiased taste test there. Going back in here. This is just, oh, wow. I got to say, changing up the cognac to Jack Daniel's, I think, is a really good move with this. I've had Steak Diane before, made with cognac. There's nothing wrong with it, but honestly, it's a little bit more sweet, a little bit more alcohol-y, oddly enough. The Jack burned off perfectly out there, but left a nice flavor behind. Now, this was a New York strip steak. You could do this with any steak you want. The key is getting it to that right temperature. If you like medium rare, 130 is really a good target. Take it off, put some foil on it. And if you're making this sauce to go with it, it's going to be a winner no matter what cut it is. Oh man, this is good. I'm not going to continue eating and talking for too long because I know my wife wants to get into this. I want some more of this. All I can say is this is an awesome steak. This steak Jack and Diane was something I just thought of the other day, swapping out the cognac. I got to tell you, this is one of the best ideas I've had. I know I said I wasn't going to keep talking and tasting, but just one more bite. Just really one more bite. It's just really good. Hold on. One more bite. It's a combination of that perfectly cooked medium rare steak, this mushroom cream sauce with the Jack Daniel's. I could go on describing it, but honestly, make this if you get a chance. It tastes amazing.